Today we will go to new topic, that is Python inheritance. So one of the important terminology in object-oriented programming. It is one of the important feature of OOP, object-oriented programming. The process in which the properties of one class is transferring through another class is known as inheritance. The properties are transferring from which class is known as a superclass or parent class, we can say. The class which is derived from superclass is known as subclass or child class. Why inheritance? It provides the concept of reusability, which is the main advantage. I will explain what is the meaning of reusability. So class property. So in our last chapter, that is class and object, already I have given the clarity. What do you mean by class property? Whatever anything is present inside a class, that is class property. Basically, a class may contain data or function or data and function. So that is the property of that class. So the class property is transferring to another class. Suppose this is a class A and this is a class B. This is a class A and this is a class B. Now, you can say here A is called as superclass and B is called as subclass. We will see what is the ability of subclass. Subclass is able to access superclass property. That we will see by considering an example. If somebody will ask why inheritance or what is the main advantage of inheritance, then simple answer is reusability. So what do you mean by reusability or what is the meaning of reusability? I will explain. So then I will go to my Jupyter notebook environment. So I will create a new Python file. So now suppose I will give the file name Python inheritance. Python inheritance. Let I have a class. Suppose A. One function I will define. Print. Let Python program. So simply A is a class. F1 function definition is the A class property. So in our last chapter that already we have studied, any function we define inside a class, it is mandatory that we have to take self keyword. Self is a keyword that is directly referring to the current object. So what if or whatever we have the data member will access by self keyword using dot operator. In our last class, already I have given the clarity. Now I will come out from the class A. Now I will create a subclass. So how to create a subclass? It is very simple. Class name, parenthesis. So this class name, parenthesis this. So now B is a subclass, A is a superclass. Class name within bracket any class name we are specifying. So bracket class inside the bracket whatever the class we are specifying. So that is the superclass, and here B is subclass. So here this is the superclass and this is the subclass. Let in B class there is a function f2. Let my function name is f2. This function I will define print. Let Python inheritance. So now A is a superclass, B is a subclass. F1 function definition is the property of A class. F2 function definition is the property of B class. Now I came out from the B class. Now I will declare an object. But here we have two classes, A class and B class. So the inheritance concept is saying, so we will declare one object, and through that one object we will access all property. That means all superclass and subclass property. Suppose let it I am confusing whether I will declare A class object or I will declare B class object. We will check linearly. Suppose object name. So in Python, object declaration is very simple. Object name equals to class name parenthesis. Suppose I declared A class object. Then what the concept is saying, after the object declaration, object dot function name, then object dot function name. So already we have known when a function is invoking by the object, then the function definition is executing. So here, this line representing object declaration, obj is the object of A class, or we can say obj is a type of object. After that, when this line control will come to execute this line obj dot f1 function. So when this line will execute, this person will execute F1 function definition will execute. There is no problem because F1 function is the property of A class, obj is the object of A class. So happily it will execute the function which is coming from which class, that function when that will invoke by the corresponding object, so the function definition will execute. But when control will come to the next line, obj dot f2 function. F2 function definition is the property of a B class. B is our subclass. Obj the object of A class. A class is our superclass. That means superclass object trying to access F2. So this line will give error. You see, now I will hit run. You see, now process is going on. So we will see. So you see, so we got an error. That error name is attribute error and description is A object has no attribute F2. A object has no attribute F2. If the control is considering F1 function definition, F1 is the attribute, F2 is another attribute. So A object have no attribute F2. So that means the superclass object, what we are observing basically, the superclass object never access subclass property, or we can say subclass property can't access by superclass object. Then here this F1 function definition executed because we got output Python program. But in this line, the error is coming. Okay, so since error is arising, so I will declare B class object because I saw when we threw A class object and through the A class object we invoked F1 function and F2 function, then we got one error. That's why I will consider B class object. Now we will see. Now I will hit run. So I got the output happily. Python programming and Python interface. Python inheritance. I got the output. So B class is subclass. So subclass object I declared. So through the subclass object, we accessed all superclass property and subclass property. Obj.f1. Now obj is the B class object. F1 is the property of A class. A class is superclass, but object is subclass object. So from the output, we observed subclass object can access a superclass property. So we saw this is the ability of subclass. So one note point that I got, subclass object can access superclass property. So this point we got. This point we got. Okay, then F2 in this line there is no problem because F2 is the own property because F2 function coming from B class, obj is the object of B class, so there is no problem. Happily F2 function definition will execute when F2 function will invoke by the object obj. Okay, so I hope you got clarity. So in object declaration, at the time of object declaration, always we will consider subclass object because subclass object is able to access superclass property and its own property. Then suppose I will take another example. Let class A, suppose A class have a data member let X. Now I will create a subclass. Let B class have a data member let Y. Suppose Y is 0, and I will define a function, get function, and I will write self dot x equals to 100, self dot y equals to 200. You see, now get function is the property of a B class. So B class is a subclass, A is a superclass. But what I am trying to access this line what I have written. You see, self dot x equals to 100, but the property x not available in B class. Property x is the property of A class. Physically, x is not available in B class, but B class property, that is get function, so is able to access this property. So y is its own property. In this line there is no problem. So if it is right, then we got another note point. Subclass property get function is the B class property. Subclass property is also able to access superclass property. So this is representing reusability. Here X is already used. That X again we are using in subclass property, but X is not available. Okay, so now similarly I will define another function for writing print statement. So I can write print x equals to the value of x, that is self dot x, print y equals to, that is the value of y, that is self dot y. So here A is superclass containing one data member, that is x, that is the property of A class. Now B is our subclass containing one data member, that is y, and containing two function. One is get function definition and one is show function definition. So these are the property of B class. So what I am trying, in get function definition, I have accessed the superclass property. So here we can get another note point. So previously we saw subclass object can access superclass property. Now we got another point. Subclass property can also access superclass property. Superclass property. Subclass property can also access superclass property. Subclass object can access superclass property. Subclass property can also access superclass property. So now I will go to object declaration. So previously we have seen, so in inheritance context, so at the time of object declaration, definitely I will take the object of subclass. Object name, class name, parenthesis. So after object declaration, object name dot get function, whatever the function definition that you have. So that function I will call by the object obj dot show function. So when this line will execute, get function definition will execute. When this line will execute, show function definition will execute. So based on two output statement, output will come to the picture. Now I will hit run. You see, so I got x equals to 100, y equals to 200. So this is another example. So overall, this is representing inheritance, or we can say this is inheritance. There is a superclass or parent class, there is a soft class or child class. At the time of object declaration, we are declaring subclass object. Then, so by subclass object, we are invoking all superclass and subclass property. Okay, so this is called as inheritance. This is called as inheritance. So we got two note points. Subclass object can access superclass property. Subclass property can access also superclass property. Clear? So I hope you got the clarity. Then we will know reusability. What exactly the concept of reusability? Reusability, which is the advantage of inheritance. So one scenario that I am showing, suppose a bank so provided a task. One day a bank came to you and that bank provided a task that you have to develop an application for a bank for managing whatever the bank is providing varieties of loan. So nowadays, bank is providing varieties of loan like suppose let it personal loan, let home loan, let vehicle loan. Suppose. So nowadays, bank is providing varieties of loans. So bank told you guys develop an application for me. As a result, through that application, our all types of loan will manage. Then you have no idea about inheritance. Simply you have the idea about class and objects. So in which way that you developed the application. So in this way you developed class personal loan, class personal loan, then 300 functions you define, 300 functions you define. Number of a task is the number of function definition. In this way you define. Similarly, class home loan in this way. So you thought there are 300 number of tasks, 300 functions you define. Similarly, class vehicle loan, 300 functions you define. So in this way, 900 functions you define. Total number of functions, that is 900 functions. So without inheritance, that you developed this application without inheritance that you developed this application. Simply you had the knowledge about class and object by using class and object you developed. And everything is right. Hopefully you executed the application, any type of input that you are providing, then you are getting output. Everything is okay. Then I also verified. I verified your application. Everything is right. Happily, the application is working. Application is managing any type of loan. But somewhere I felt the code is becoming heavyweight. I saw, I observed 99% property is common in personal loan, in home loan, in vehicle loan. Maximum property is common. Nowadays, suppose if I will go to bank for any loan, maximum document is common. Aadhaar card, PAN card, salary slip, address proof, IT file return, so civil score. So these are very common. These are very common documents that I have to provide for getting any type of loan. In home loan, just one to two document additionally that you have to provide, that like land document. Otherwise, any type of loan nowadays, if you want to take, so if you go to bank, maximum documents are common. So I saw in personal loan, Aadhaar card, PAN card, address proof, salary slip; in home loan, same document; in vehicle loan, same document. So 99% property is common that I found. Then I suggested you learn inheritance from python-tpoints.com. Then after learning inheritance, you start or you develop this application using inheritance. So when using inheritance, so how you are developing? That means with inheritance, how you develop class loan. That's common property. Let 250 functions are common property. So that common property you define in by taking a class loan. Then class personal loan you so make as subclass loan. Then the remaining 50 functions, because common 250 functions that I defined in loan class, and here I considered loan is a super class. Personal loan I will make personal loan, home loan, and vehicle loan as subclass. So remaining 50 functions I defined here. Then class home loan, then also home loan class I defined as a subclass. Remaining 50 functions I defined. Similarly, class vehicle loan, remaining 50 functions I define. So in this way, we developed that application using inheritance. So in this way, how many functions totally you define? Totally number of functions. Total number of functions 250, 50, 50, 50, 150. So that is 400. 250 plus 100, 400 functions. So you think and imagine, without inheritance, 900 functions I define. With inheritance, using inheritance, 400 functions I defined, spread 500 functions reduced. That means advantage, one advantage that I got, code complexity is reducing. This is the one advantage. So this is reusability. How? Because this 200 function, so this is the property of loan class. Loan is a super class. Personal loan, home loan, vehicle loan are three subclasses. So this super class property not available in personal loan class, not available in home loan class, not available in vehicle loan class. But anytime we can use here, we can use here, or we can use here. The super class property again use in subclass, that is reusability. So this is the main advantage. 250, this property not available in personal loan class, but anytime we can directly access, we can use for writing any type of business logic. Okay, so this is reusability. Super class property again or reusing in subclass. Super class property, super class property again use in subclass. Okay, representing, which is or is known as reusability, is known as reusability or representing reusability. This is the advantage of inheritance. Okay, so I hope you got the clarity. So without inheritance and with inheritance, one scenario that we studied, so we saw code complexity is reducing when we are developing the application with the inheritance due to the concept of reusability. Okay, so this is overall all about inheritance. Then we will go to the next point. So there is one important interview questions. Python function overriding. Python function overriding. Function overriding. Function overloading that we had studied in function chapter. Now we will cover what is function overriding. When a function and its signature in superclass and the function and its signature in child class is exactly same, then we can say child class function is overridden. Suppose let I have a class animal. Let I have a class animal. I will define a function. Let make sound. Make underscore sound. One output statement. I can write. Suppose animal sound is generic. Whatever you write, there is no problem. So let we have a class animal. Make underscore sound is a function that I define. This is the property of this class. Now I will create a child class. Let class dog within bracket animal. So now animal is parent class or super class. Dog is subclass. Make underscore sound this. Let one output statement write dog sound is oof. Suppose you see the function and its signature in superclass. Here, animal is a superclass, dog is a subclass. The function and its signature in superclass, the function and its signature in subclass is exactly same. Then the child class function or subclass function is called as overridden. This is called as overridden function. This is called as overridden function. Suppose I will create another child class. Let it class. Let cat. So cat is child class or subclass. Animal is parent class. Now I will define same function. Make underscore sound. So I will write cat sound is meow. Suppose. Suppose. You see, so now I can say this is also called as overridden function. Okay. So what is the definition? So I can write. So I hope this part you have written. Soma, Prem, give a response. So function overriding. So first of all, I will define Python function overriding. When a function and its signature in superclass and the function and its signature in subclass is exactly same, then the function in subclass is called as overridden function. This is known as function overriding. This is known as function overriding. So this is the definition. So the function and its signature in superclass, the function and its signature in subclass is exactly same. Then subclass function we are saying that is overridden function. You see, so make sound there is no argument. So here make sound in child class there is no argument. Self is mandatory. So now that's why this function is called as overridden function. This function is called as overridden function. So now I will create an object. Suppose here two child class. Suppose my underscore dog let is my object name equals to class name parenthesis. Let my underscore cat equals to cat class name parenthesis. So now my dog is the object of a dog class. My cat is the object of a cat class. So then I can write my dog object name dot function name make underscore sound function. Similarly, I can write my underscore dog object name dot cat object name dot function name make underscore sound. So here when this line will execute, my dog is the subclass object, means a dog class object. My cat is the cat class object. But here dog is a subclass, cat is a subclass. When this line will execute, so this person will execute. Dog sound is off. Maybe question may arise, sir, why it will not execute? Because subclass object have ability to access a superclass property. Yes, subclass object can access superclass property, but particularly in this context. So subclass object will give the priority first, access its own property. Subclass have ability. If suppose if I have a vehicle, why I will bring my father's vehicle? So if I have a vehicle, so definitely I will give the priority. I will go to college through my vehicle. There is no need to bring my father's vehicle. Subclass object have the ability to access a superclass property. But in this context, since the property is same, so it will give the priority to access its own property. Dog sound is off. So now when this line will execute, then similarly this person will execute. Now I will hit run. You see, so I got dog sound is off and cat sound is off. Okay, so you see, so subclass property. This is the subclass property. Dog sound is off and this cat sound is a meow. So this message came to the picture as output. So this is function overriding. This is the concept of function overriding. Here question may arise. Sir, this is a disadvantageous fact. How this is a disadvantageous fact? Yes, I can say this is a disadvantage. Because the inheritance concept is saying with the help of subclass object, with the help of subclass object, we can access all superclass property and subclass property. So here, superclass property is not coming to our picture, only subclass property is coming. In function overriding context, we saw the output, and from the output we observed only subclass property is coming to the picture. Superclass property is not coming to the picture. So the developer thought it is a disadvantage point because it is violating the concept of inheritance. So, in particularly in this context, how to access superclass property, animal sound is generic. So, the developer developed a built-in function that is super function. That is super function, and that super function we will use in subclass property. That super function we will use in subclass property. Super function dot function name make underscore sound. This. Now, when this line will execute, this person will execute. Super function. So there is a built-in function super. Particularly in this context, we use the super function. And what is the purpose of super function? The super function is used to access superclass property. And in which scenario we use super function, particularly this scenario means function overriding context. Superclass property and subclass property is exactly same. Now you see when this line will execute, so this person will execute. So what is the body? So these two line super function, this line will execute, then animal sound is generated, then this line will execute. You see. So now I will hit run. You see, I got animal sound is generated. Okay, so by by using super function, we can access superclass property. So this is all about function overriding, and this is all about the concept of inheritance, or this is inheritance tutorial.